Welcome to this part of the course. In the previous video, we implemented the downloads. We were able to download wallpaper. We were able to delete wallpaper as well. Sorry, we were able to download wallpaper, and also we were able to retrieve wallpaper. Okay, so in this section, we are going to apply our wallpaper. Okay, so where we are going to be doing that is on this view screen, because you can see we have this apply wallpaper. But the first thing I need to do is to write the logic for it. So we are going to do that logic inside our home wallpaper provider. Okay, so inside here, if you notice previously, we added this apply wallpaper method, right, with the locations and everything. Okay, so let's quickly move down here. I think we already created the logic. I don't know. Okay, we did not create the logic. You just have the apply wallpaper method. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys now how to apply those wallpaper. And to apply wallpaper, we are going to first of all what we are going to do is download the wallpaper, right? And then we are going to use this dependency, which is called Flutter Wallpaper Manager. We are going to be using it to set our wallpaper whether for home screen or for lock screen, right? So quickly, what we are going to do here is that I'm going to come here and I'm going to use our view state, right? So just like to tell users that, hey, wallpaper is applying. Okay, so we're going to like use this view state dot this. Okay, and then once we do that, I'm going to use our try and catch block to just show, let's say, our try catch. And inside here, we are just going to show error in case there's any error, right? Because it's very important to handle errors with something like this. This is a platform channel, like it's calling native API. So what I'm going to do first is to say result equal to, we are going to use our wait because this is asynchronous, it's calling a platform channel. So we're going to use our wallpaper manager, right? This is actually coming, sorry, wallpaper manager, right? Because this is coming from the wallpaper manager class. You can see it has the location constants. It has 1 for home screen, 2 for lock screen, 3 for boot screen. It has the get platform version, set wallpaper from file, clear wallpaper, get this. But this is the only thing we are going to be using to set wallpaper from file, and it's going to, you're going to put the file part and also the wallpaper location, right? So let's get to it. So I'm going to use set wallpaper from file, right? Then we have the file part. I already have this image, so I'm just going to directly pass the image, and then the wallpaper location, since it's an integer, I'm going to pass the location, right? And don't forget to close it, right? Then once we do that, you can just say, maybe just have a logger that just shows the wallpaper response to see how it returns. Okay, so we have the app log, and then here we can just say wallpaper response, and we can just pass in the cool. So that's pretty much it, and we can now apply wallpaper, right, using this logic. So more like we can now like check if the application of the wallpaper is null or if it's false, right? So what I'm going to do is to check if the results, maybe if it, because this returns a bool, right? It returns a bool. So I need to check, and if the bool is false, that means the wallpaper was not applied. If the bool is true, the wallpaper was applied. So we need to handle that accordingly. So if the result is false, I'm going to show like error applying wallpaper and then return from there. So but if it's true, what we are going to show is just our wallpaper applied successfully, and we're going to set the state to success. All right, so that's pretty much it for the logic to apply wallpaper. Now we are done with this. We don't have any business with applying wallpaper anymore. So what we are going to do now is to go back to our view wallpaper screen. So here in this method, we have the apply wallpaper logic. Okay, so what is going to happen here is that if the platform, first of all, I'm going to check if the platform is iOS. I'm going to call download iOS file, because for iOS we cannot directly apply wallpaper. Okay, so I'm going to have platform dot if it's iOS. So what we are going to do rather is to download the iOS file. Okay, and then I'm going to pass in the download state, right? More like I'm going to create that method later, and once we do that, we are going to return. But if it's Android, we can go ahead and show the show dialog, right, so that users can select where they want to apply the wallpaper, if it's home or anywhere. So I'm going to quickly create this method right? So this one now is going to be used for downloading the wallpaper. So what I'm going to do here now is to check. First thing first, I'm going to check if the widget dot is local file. So if it's a local file, there's no point downloading it to local storage. What we are going to do is to save it to external. There's no point downloading it to the app specific storage using document directory or path provider. But what we are going to do is to save it into the external storage, okay? Because we already have all those methods. When you go to our download provider, let's say our download provider, you will see that we have this one to save file in external storage using the image gallery saver, right? Then if it's Android, we can just download file, right? So this is what we are going to do now quickly. Let me locate this guy. Okay, so I'm going to check here if widget dot is local file. So what I'm going to do now is to save to iOS. So I'll have my await and a sync here. So let's say await download state, right? Dot save file in external storage. Then I can just pass, because this is accepting a file, right? I'll just have to put in my file here, and then I can put in the widget.url, right, which is coming from this constructor as well. Okay, so here now, if it's actually not a local file, what I'm going to do is just to say download state.download file. So we are just going to download it to our app specific directory, so you can now find it inside your downloads. Okay, so we're going to say widget.url. all right. So the next thing that we're going to do is just to check if the state is successful or not. If there's an error, what we are going to do is to show the error message. If it's successful, we are now going to show the success message, right? So this is it, show error. If it's successful, we do this and we set the flag is error false. Okay, so this is pretty much it for downloading iOS file. Okay, so what I'm going to do next now is to create the logic, like the bottom sheet that comes up when users try to add try to apply wallpaper for Android. So inside here, what I'm going to do is just to call apply bottom sheet. Okay, so with this, what I'm going to do is to quickly go over to my I'm going to go over to the bottom sheet. I think I'm going to create that inside our shared directory, and I have, let's look at our shared. We have our dialog. So inside here, I'm going to create apply bottom sheet dot that, right? So inside here, I'm just going to create that method. It's going to be a void, and I think it's going to take like some parameters. First thing is going to take a build context, right? And then we need a callback to know when home is tapped, to also know when home is tapped, when lock is tapped, when the boot is tapped. So we need those callback. But first, let me return this. Okay, and inside here, what I'm going to do is to have a void callback, and this is going to be null. We have on home tap, that's when user selects to apply in the home page. Okay, so pretty much cool. And the next thing I'm going to do now is just to show a model bottom sheet, right? We pass the context and a builder, so the builder just takes a context, and we can return this guy. Okay, so let's save it, and now we can just come here. So basically what I'm going to do here is to return a padding for now, or let me just say I return like a wrap, because this can be a wrap, or let's use a column instead. So we have a column, right? And we have the children of the column. So I'm going to leave this like this first. And the first thing I'm going to do here is more like I'm going to create a list style, right? So that list style is going to have a leading icon. So we have leading for the first item, right? So it's going to be like icons dot camera, or let's just say home screen. Let's call this home. I think I cannot really get all the icons because I did not use assets for them. So we are just going to stick with this, right? So we have the leading, and I'm going to create the title and also the on tap callback. So we have the title here, which is going to be home screen, right? And I'm going to add a style with text style, which is definitely going to be white as well, right? And then finally we have the on tap. So when users tap on it, the first thing we want to do is to call context.pop. Okay, and once we do that context.pop, I'm going to now call the on home tapped, right? The on home tapped callback. So let's remove this const from it. This is not good. Okay, we are going to put this node here. Awesome. So this is pretty much it. So let's go back now to our screen here. I'm going to quickly import this guy, and here now I need to like set the context and on home tapped, right, which is a method, and you can just print out something. Let's say home tapped. Okay, then here we can now say we can add other ones, which is on lock tapped. So home tapped is going to be 1, lock tap is going to be 2. Is it 1? Let's see this guy. 1 2 3. Okay, awesome. So and on both tapped is going to be 3. Awesome. So now we have this, right? We can just move over to our bottom sheet. Let me save it and try to click on it. You can see that it's going to pop up, but now these guys are not showing. It's showing white, and it's not really giving us what we want. And I don't want this to be too long like this. I want it to only fit the items that are inside. So I'm going to use main axis size, and I'll use main axis size dot minimum, right? Save it. So we are going to try that again one more time. You can see now it's only taking what we have, right? The height is not exceeding what it's supposed to. So I'm going to add a background color to this bottom model sheet, and also I'm going to add a shape with the border radius and just make it look good. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and now if I open it up, you can see now it's changing to black, and we can clearly see the text, right? So I'm going to do the same thing now for the other ones that we have, which is more like the lock screen, the boot screen, and also I'm going to add a cancel icon so users will be able to cancel in case they don't want to apply, right? All right, so I've successfully added them. You can see the home screen, you can see the lock screen with this icon, you can see the boot screen with its own icon, you can see the cancel. When you click on cancel, we can just call the context.pop, right, to just clear for the cancel. Okay, so let's save that and bring up the dialog, and you can see now we have this cool looking widget. If you click cancel, it closes. Then let's go down. If you click on home, you can see it's showing home tapped. If you clicked on lock, you can see lock tapped. If you click here, it's showing both tapped. Okay, I think I did not put that guy. It's supposed to be both tapped. All right guys, that's pretty much it for this guy. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is to write the logic to apply the wallpaper. Okay, so to apply the wallpaper, we are just going to have simple logic. So let's come down here, just around here. I'm going to create the void method that says apply wallpaper. All right, and it's going to take some parameters. First is the action, or let's just say location, right, which is the int. Then we have the document provider. We are going to pass the provider state, which is download state, download state. And then we are going to pass the wallpaper provider. It's going to be null because it can be null sometimes. We're going to pass the wallpaper provider. Awesome. So next thing we are going to do now is to check I have my async. Make sure this is asynchronous. I'm going to check if the widget, right, because you can check if widget dot is local file. If it is not local file, we are going to download the file, right? Yeah, that's pretty much what we are going to do. And once we download it, we can now go ahead and apply the wallpaper. But if it's local file, there's no point downloading it. We can just apply the wallpaper directly. So here we're going to have a wait. So we have the download state, right, dot download files. We have the widget dot URL, right? Okay, which is the image part that we want to apply, and make sure it's this is actually a URL, a string, because we can see here we say it's not local file, so it's coming from the network. So here we can just check if the state is, so we can just check if the state is actually sucks. If it's error, we can just proceed and show an error message, right? So if the state is let's say if download, so if download state, hold on, let me check something that is here. Okay, so if download state, right, view state is equal to, let's say, view state dot success. So what we are going to do now is to just show if it's mounted, what we are going to do is to show another message that just says so we need to return this guy here. So we need to show another message and set his error to false and make sure you return this. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do now is to check once this has been downloaded for a non-local file, we need to go on and apply the wallpaper, right? Because we already have that logic inside our wallpaper. So we have the await. Okay, I'm going to use the wallpaper state. I think there's no point making this guy nullable. So we can just have the wallpaper. This is supposed to be wallpaper state. Okay, so we have the wallpaper state. Oops, what is happening? So wallpaper state, right, dot apply wallpaper, because we have this method already to apply wallpaper using wallpaper manager. So we have apply wallpaper, and the image is going to be I'm just going to check if it's actually a local file. If it's a local file, we are going to put in the widget.url. If it's a local file, we are putting the widget.url. If it's not a local file, we are going to put the download state, right? The response that is coming from the download. You know, when we download files, we are actually returning the response part when it's success, right? So I'm going to do that here. If widget.isLocal file, we're going to use widget.url, which is the local file part. But if it's not, we're going to use download state.message, right? Then we put in the location, okay? And from there, we can close it. And then I'm going to check the same thing that we did here, okay? But I'm just going to change it back. So here, we're going to check if the wallpaper state, right, is view state is error. We can just go ahead and show the error message, right? If it's success, we can go ahead and show the success message, right? And then just return. Cool. So that's pretty much it for applying wallpaper. So what we are going to do now is to call this apply wallpaper logic in our button when users taps on it. So I'm going to go back here now on home tapped. What I'm going to do is more like to say apply wallpaper, okay? And here it's asking for the download location, right? The location is going to be the wallpaper manager dot home screen, right? And then I'm going to pass in the download state. This should be download state, and then I'm going to pass the wallpaper state, right? Which is more like wallpaper. Okay, I think I haven't added that, so let's see if it was added somewhere around here. Okay, it's not added, so I'm going to quickly add wallpaper provider, and here I'm going to say this is going to be wallpaper state, and here I'm going to check for two things, because when you're applying wallpaper, we need to show that loading indicator too. So I'm going to say if the wallpaper state is also busy, then we can go ahead and show the loading indicator. Then moving down here, we have to put our wallpaper state, right? And that's pretty much it for the home page. We can now duplicate this for the other ones, which is for lock screen and also for both screen. But what we are going to do is to change the location to lock screen, and this we are going to change the location to both screen, right? So now I'm going to save it, right? And let's go back and come back into the screen. So let's say now, as now we can see my wallpaper is looking different, right? So I want to change this wallpaper to something else. So let's say like a car, okay? I'm going to click on it, right? And click on apply wallpaper. It's going to tell me home screen, lock screen, or so I want it to be applied to the home screen. So I'm going to click home screen and give it some few seconds. Now it's showing success, but now something is wrong. We are showing the part directly, which is not supposed to be like that. Rather, what we are supposed to do is to show like wallpaper successfully applied, right? So what I'm going to do here now is to show, we're going to go back to our method. If wallpaper state is success, what I'm going to say here is more like wallpaper successfully applied. So let's see what we are doing here. View state equal to success message, wallpaper applied successfully. I think we did that, but it's not returning. What is wrong? What is wrong? Okay, let's see. Okay, so we are going to click OK now. Let's locate our home screen. You can see, okay, that was more like an error. That was more like an error, but error is still showing green, which is not supposed to. So apply wallpaper. If it's error, let's see if we are handling it here. If it's error, we need to have, let's see our response first. Save file. Looks like this method was not called anywhere. So what we are going to do now is applying wallpaper, right? And if results is false, we can just say error applying wallpaper, right? So let me go back here. I think there's no point doing this. Oops. All right, I'm going to save it and try to apply it again. So I just want to make sure that everything works fine. So let's see if we're going to see any valid response. Okay, and now we are seeing image path, save file response, save file, but looks like it's not calling the wallpaper download logic. So I'm just going to check this to be sure what is happening. So I think I was able to discover the issue. It's actually coming from our view wallpaper because I did something wrong. Here, after downloading the wallpaper, I'm also calling return when it's already success, because when I call this return, it's stopping the execution, so it's no longer calling this method, right? So I'm going to remove this return because we don't need to return anything. So now I'm going to try to apply it again, because looking at our wallpaper, nothing is there. It's just still showing the previous one. So I'm going to click on apply wallpaper and then click on home screen. So let's just see. Wallpaper applied successfully. Oops, something is wrong, which is okay, is actually applying, but I think the message is showing twice, because when view download state is error, is showing this error, and when it's success, we are not supposed to show this guy, right? We are not even supposed to do anything like this. Okay, so I think that's where the error is coming from. So we are not supposed to do show any message or anything. So I'm going to try to apply a different wallpaper now. Let's use this one. Okay, I'll click on apply home screen, right? So it should show applying wallpaper now after downloading. So let's just see the results. All right, wallpaper applied successfully, right? This is what I wanted to see. Then if we go to our home screen, now you can see the wallpaper is there, right? So this logic also works for lock screen, it works for other screen and everything, right? So you can just experiment with it. So guys, you can see so far we were able to apply our wallpaper. We're able to view wallpaper. So let's say we want to apply wallpaper from downloads now, for instance. If we go to our downloads and click on this icon, you can see we can just apply wallpaper directly. It's not going to download, right? It's just going to call applying wallpaper straight up. So let's say home screen, you can just see it's only going to apply wallpaper. It's not going to download the wallpaper anymore, right? Because you can see it did not duplicate this data. So if we go back to our home screen, you can see our icon show. You can see our wallpaper showing pretty on our screen. Awesome, guys. So this logic also works for iOS if you test it, but for iOS it only downloads it to your local storage, right? So that's pretty much it. And so in the next video, what we are going to be working on is to implement the auto change using Work Manager.